much I'm bursting at the seams. Tell me I'm not lost out at sea. Tell me they are listening to me, feeling misplaced. Someone rescue me. Someone rescue me. Someone take me. I'm floating. Someone save me. I'm
All right. Nightly Kickback, folks. Welcome to our Thursday night, I believe it is. Thursday night hangout. Thank you all for hanging out. Obviously, of course, the numbers are well into the 100,000s with our viewers. Incredibly popular show, as always. I feel like I could give a lengthy introduction here, but I think that would just be a waste of time because I am here with the man, the myth, the legend, Jake Cloobeck. What is up, dude?
Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for hanging out.
No worries.
Coming to my little rinky-dink show here.
Love it.
Nowhere near as exciting as I'm guessing your life is right now out in California.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of mellow right now in LA, but
I feel like if there's one time in your life where I could legitimately convince you that I would be more exciting than whatever else you could do, it would be quarantine.
yeah, I mean I definitely did not start a podcast, so
Maybe you should. Maybe that's where Script Haven has to go.
I know. A long time coming, but
So
Script Haven.
hold on, we're gonna get to Script Haven in a hot second, but let's start with just the basics, man. Like, where are you right now? What are you doing?
So I'm in Beverly Hills with my dad. We moved there a little bit ago, and yeah, I mean I haven't been doing much. I've just been working on schoolwork, finishing my last semester at school.
So a quick summary of your connection, not only to me but to Foreman. You came as a sophomore?
Yes.
Came as a sophomore. Graduated in 2016. You were a standout film student, which is how I connected with you because you were here before I was. I came as a film teacher when you were here.
Mm-hmm.
Studied film, loved it. Went to Chapman University, which is out in California, for their production program. I don't know what the official name is. Producing? They're producing.
Yeah, film producing. So they have film production, but I went for film producing because that was the only school that offered producing.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned more. I mean, directing's great, but like the finance of it and like budget structuring and the super boring stuff you need to know to produce and like dealing with people. It's been a lot of fun. We got to do like 3 projects throughout my years at Chapman. We did one sophomore year, junior year, and then senior year. Super cool.
And you are now, you're now coming to the end of that, looking at a career. So for everyone, again, hundreds of thousands of viewers, insane. For all of you watching this right now, yeah, I'm hoping Jake's going to impart all of his wisdom about how he went from our little program here to the big bad world of Hollywood, where he is, as I've heard, the new bad boy of Hollywood. I mean, it's kind of all over the trades.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, back when I was at Foreman, it's nowhere near what it was now.
It was the JAC.
The JAC.
Which students now will know as the Student Center.
Yes.
And what is now Strawson's apartment.
Are you kidding me?
Was my classroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were up there, and it was always like, I don't know how big classes were, now, or how big
You know,
classes?
it's funny. The classes are about the same size.
Okay.
They're occasionally a little bigger, but for the most part, they're about the same size.
Okay.
But just a
Okay.
much better space.
Right. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because we were up in that little attic, and it was. I mean, Mr. Kelly and I had. Sure.
Oh
One
yeah.
class.
I
He was
think-
just like, no, go for it.
No, I'm trying to think because whatever you remember is probably like what I still.
So, do you teach the what's his name? Dan Harmon story structure?
Oh yeah, I talk about the story circle.
Yeah.
Screenwriting.
Yeah.
I think of all. You know, it's funny. My guess is like a lot of the fundamentals of what you would remember from my class are still there.
That's
it's
awesome.
It's just like instead of being this kind of stuttering a-hole who like is kind of pretending to know what he's talking about, I've now done it enough that I'm convincing in pretending that I know what I'm talking
I mean,
about.
you convinced me, and like that's all I studied. So like, I guess it kind of worked. But like now that you say that, now I'm giving you less credit.
Yeah, I would not give myself too much credit. But probably all the same stuff. There wasn't a whole lot more to add to that.
And then what else? I just remember like us watching like, I mean, something super funny is like my senior year, Foreman. I watched all these old films with you or just whoever I was with, like in my room. Like we would always talk about like Criterion Collection, all these films. And my first 2 years of film school, we watched those films. So I ended up skipping class because I already saw the films and like wrote a paper about it and knew what I was talking about. Like,
Sorry, are you hearing that, Foreign Administration?
Yeah, class.
Cloobeck was skipping out on class.
Well, because I mean, it's 3 hours of your time, and it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, totally.
But it was good. Don't skip class, guys. Don't do that. Bad advice. Yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, it's from 3 to 4, like, or not 3 to 4, like 1 to 4 was that film class. It wasn't like it was smack in the middle of the day, and it was just like painful because you came back from lunch and you're just like you were either asleep or you just didn't go.
Yeah, and that's I think is exactly the same as it was. We are a lot better.
Yeah,
I keeping track of you guys.
Yeah,
but I feel like that's just a universal human experience.
Oh,
to come
100%.
back from lunch and just want to go to sleep but have to keep working.
Especially in like a comfortable dark theater with like the softest seats in the world.
Yeah.
They're just like.
Do you remember that kid? The few remnants. I think the senior class now is the last class who knew the JAC.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah, it was the last. They were freshmen the last year we had the JAC, and
so they weren't even. Were they even?
You would not even have overlapped with them. I don't believe.
Okay. No, yeah, because it would have been the seniors last year.
Last year, and there's kids in this class who still remember that couch I had in my classroom, and still talk about how much they miss it.
I miss that couch too. That was a good couch.
Yep.
Oh man.
So
no, go for it.
No, I want you to talk. This is your.
I'm just like reminiscing of just like Ethan just sleeping on the couch always, like him just like coming in and just ending up like it was like 3 of us in class, and you would just like you'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, pay attention."
Yeah. It's funny. It's like I think I'm still just doing that exact same stuff, but just in a more practiced manner. Like, and I will say, like, you know, that I think the attic space we had was so tiny and cozy. It was so easy to like
bundle up,
settle, and chill out. Yeah, the space I have now is a little bit more conducive to doing stuff, which is great. But teenagers being sleepy and not interested in doing anything is going to be forever. Yeah, way of life.
Exactly.
So let's start with you at Foreman. You were always an eager, talented little film guy. I remember, like, even when I was interviewing for my job there, like the first name I heard as a kid, I would get to know. They're like, "Oh, this kid Jake Cloobeck, he's like really into film. You're probably gonna want to know this guy."
Mm-hmm.
And then you were my director / kind of almost co-conspirator for the Foreman Makes a Movie program.
For the first one, yes, which is kind of crazy.
Yep.
Way back when, 5 years ago.
So let's start with what do you remember? What do you remember about the first Foreman Makes a Movie?
I just remember. Well, the problem is being all insightful now. I'm like, man, I was such a little like I was eager, but also I was impatient,
Mm-hmm.
very, very impatient. And you can't be impatient because I mean, being on college sets, like you just got to be the chillest guy in the room,
Yep.
which sucks because like at that time I was not. I got frustrated all the time, and I was dealing with like I remember. I don't know if they'd go through. Do they go through? I know we talked about that someone manned the camera for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When we did it, guys, it was me and a guy named Liam who were really like setting up the shots for the camera. So there was a lot of. I wish we planned. I mean, nothing we can do now. I wish you and I planned a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's been the biggest thing. I try and tackle every year.
yeah, like just planning the shots properly. Um, just really make sure like doing scout properly, things like that. That I mean, I was like 17. Like, what are you, like, you were leading it, and I was just like, oh, no, I know what I'm doing, and I completely had no idea what I was doing. And then we were leading a pack of people who really didn't know what they were doing.
Well, and the funny detail to that too is that I genuinely had no idea what I was doing. Like I had like been around film stuff before, and I knew like how different pieces worked, but I had never A, been in charge of a film set, and
Right.
B, never had no idea what was going to be required of this thing in terms of work and energy and like commitment.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to have you guys because you were willing to just sort of dive in with me. But everything that we weren't, that you weren't prepared for, like I wasn't prepared for. And that's
Right.
been, I think that's been the biggest lesson I've learned like every year since is how well can I prepare you
Right.
guys for the shoot.
I remember, like, because I don't know if Winterim, if like the people on campus still do sports or whatever.
We just stopped doing that this year.
Okay, cool. But when they did that, like, I had to cancel my sport because I was uploading footage till like 9 at night. Like,
Yeah.
I'd go get dinner, and then I'd be in the room uploading, trying to sync all the footage with the sound, and it was like me and another person too, and we were just like trying to, and we were finding time to shoot. We're doing pickups at those times at night too because we had a night shoot. I think for what, like 5 days of the shoot, 6 days.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Couple.
But like we didn't know how to properly do everything, and then like I don't know, like planning's just key. That was the biggest thing.
Planning is hugely key, and that's the one thing I've been trying to tackle
Mhm.
better every year. No, it's funny. It's like like the things you mentioned, like sports, night shoots, and shot listing, like basically planning your shot. Those are the three things I still think are the biggest hurdles we face every year, simply because of the nature of the program and
Mhm.
the nature of you guys. You know, you're not unlimited wells of energy, understandably.
At
And
that
so
time, like, and you don't have like coffee at your convenience.
But the good
Then-
news is, I think we've cracked it.
Good.
We basically plan everything out in advance. You would like if you were to come back, and we'll have to make this happen one year. But if
Yeah.
you come back and see how it operates now, you'd be like, what the heck? Like there's like a schedule, and there's
Yeah.
regular coffee runs. And we figured out how to, and so much of it is owed to Generation 1, you guys who just were willing to bang your head against it enough times until a movie came out. But I think that's why it's like still such a great experience. It was, we all were just in it together, just figuring out how it works. The amount of people I know who still say, they'd be like, the imperfect score, that's still my favorite. Like like people love it. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not even kidding you.
Oh my goodness. I'm just like I see all the not that it wasn't negative, but I see all the like the sound issues. Like
you're gonna remember all the little things. Yeah.
No, I remember all the little things that the hurdles that we were just you and I were banging our heads on. We're like, I remember at one point like it didn't upload properly. Like the day we were supposed to like premiere it, and like
the premiere was a nightmare.
Oh my God, it was a nightmare.
If I remember, it was like it didn't properly render before. It was like rendering right up until the last minute,
last minute.
It didn't fully work all the way, so we had to like
The ending didn't finish, so we're like, oh, by the way, check it out online.
we had to play it separately, and then we we didn't even have the final scene in the classroom. Like I remember we had to play the last scene as a separate video clip, and then we were like,
we played it Monday meeting or something like that. We're
no,
like,
I think we did a Saturday night, but it was it was, and then
we did it Saturday night.
And then like I remember we did, and then the next year when you weren't here, but the next year it finished. It was a complete movie, but it finished rendering 10 minutes after the start time of the premiere. And I was so nervous the whole night was going to go to S word. What a save! But hey, okay, so imperfect score. We banged our head against it, but you figured it out. We figured it out. You made a movie.
Yes.
In my opinion, it's the reason that the VPAC exists. Because such a great success, they had to put your name on a building somewhere.
I know. I wonder who did that.
But I see your name and I'm like, A, I'm proud of you.
Oh,
and
thanks, man.
B, I'm like, in a way, this is a tribute to our movie. Like this is a.
I mean, now that you see that way, like, or at least tell me that way, like, I'm like, yeah, this is sick. I mean, I knew it was sick, and it's just like, it's such a bummer that I literally live across the country.
I know.
It's like so inconvenient because like for the 4 years, like I've had class, I've had finals, I've had all this stuff that is just like, you know, my brother goes to Penn now. Totally off topic.
I did not know that. When did he start going there?
He started to. He's a sophomore now. But yeah, anyway, so like if I ever go see him, I'm definitely making the trek. Hey.
I was pointing at my Penn flag in the background there.
Yeah.
To remind my viewers that I went to an Ivy League school. Yeah,
Ivy
you're
League.
welcome.
Yeah.
I'm a smart guy. What year? So wait, what year is he now?
Sophomore, man.
That's awesome. Is he liking it so far?
Oh, he absolutely loves it.
All right, we'll talk Penn specifics.
Yeah, we can talk Penn later. But I was just like, oh. But yeah, I want to come there and check it out, and I know you sent me photos, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll get you here eventually. No rush, man. In a lot of ways, it's like been good. It's like built the mystery of like who Jay Cloobeck is.
Well, I'm not dead, A, and B.
You were tragically killed by some rare illness or a car accident.
Yeah. No.
You're just a good-looking, healthy kid in California.
The problem is.
Yes, I see it as a tribute to the imperfect score. That's the way. That building was built by FAMAM. It's a legacy. It's an institution.
It is a legacy. It was.
An institution.
Do everyone know what it was like based off of? Did everyone like? Have you told them?
No.
That's funny.
It's definitely an age split with that. Like if you're older.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is the craziest. Like I make references to like some kids that are like freshmen and sophomores, and they're like, "What the hell are you talking, bro?" Like how like there's a generation that didn't watch like when I was little, like Thomas the Tank Engine or like whatever. They just went straight to SpongeBob. I'm like, dude, what? Or like
just tons of splits like that. So the perfect score, the film that we ripped the name off of.
Chris Evans.
Before he was Captain America, he was a guy who did low-level or medium level like teen comedies.
That was before Fantastic Four too. So
yeah,
like
what a career transformation he did. And he, so like if you're older, they'll be like, oh, like the perfect score. I've like flirted with changing the name of it.
You should.
Just calling it something else if I ever try to take it anywhere, just to be like.
You know what a film that you should take somewhere that I was like thinking about a lot was Kate.
Was what?
What's wrong with Kate?
Oh
like,
yeah, that's definitely
one film that you need to like.
I'm gonna sell that as a Netflix series one day.
You definitely should.
For
like
sure.
I might. We can chat about that later because I have some people at Netflix.
Mr. Producer, I'm gonna hook me up with some contacts.
Dude, actually though, because like it's the perfect type of.
Hold on.
Have you written some stuff for it?
We'll talk about me later. We're here to talk about you. Obviously, I'm incredible, and I'm a deep well of information to dig through. But I want to talk about you.
Okay.
You are my guest, and they're the hundreds, almost 1 million viewers now are here to figure out what you do with your life.
900 less.
What's that?
So like we're at 100 users. Maybe?
We're definitely cresting 1 million now. So it's huge smash hit.
Okay, cool.
So you did the imperfect score.
Yeah.
And you went off to Chapman.
Yeah.
Got into producing. How much do you think the FMAM experience helped you for? I think you were touching on it before in terms of behavior wise, but how much of the in terms of staying chill, like it taught you to relax when crazy shit hits the fan? Oop, crazy S word. Sorry.
It's taken me a little bit. I think it was well, because my freshman year I had to take just classes. I was on a film or two, but I wasn't on any till my sophomore year.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in my sophomore year, I went on to, because I was in a fraternity, someone in my Greek family like was directing a film at the time, so he put me on the set, which was super nice. So I was production coordinator my sophomore year on a senior thesis, and then like script supervisor, and I did multiple. I mean, on set you do multiple jobs, you wear multiple hats. Like I even PD'd at one point, production design for all you guys. But yeah, it's just like helping out and being relaxed. I mean, I think I've seen a lot of people like have a lot of fits on set, so it's really difficult. So it's like, okay, I don't want to do that. So like, just stay chill, kind of thing. You don't want, because you see people like let other people be the mess, and you just run in the back sidelines and just be like, what can I help out with? Like that's what I kind of learned. Let other people have that light, and you're good. Don't be in that light. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like producing is definitely it's a much different game. It's like a director's kind of you're like, if you're on a ship, you're sort of the one who's plotting the course and deciding where you land, and the producer's the one that's making sure everyone on the ship is like, yo, you good? Are you good? Are you good?
It's actually, it's really funny too, because like going through producing, 4 years of producing makes me want to be a director.
Oh,
which
really?
Which is super ironic, because it's like I've had to deal with so many fits that I'm over it, where it's like, man, if I just directed, like, and I had a producer, like, I knew exactly what to do. Because like in film school, at least at Chapman, everyone who's a director has weirdly no conception of how much things cost at all.
Sure. Yeah, I believe that.
So they're just like, oh yeah, we're going to do this one thing, and it's just like, well, you need a permit, which is going to cost $1,000, and we're going to need a stunt coordinator, or like a cat wrangler, or like a school teacher, and all these things cost money. And they're like, oh, we'll just do that. And I'm like, where are you going to get it? How are you going to get this money? And he's like, we'll figure it out. I'm like, no, like we need to figure this out. Like Kickstart, like GoFundMe. What if we get, as seniors, you get money from the school, which is super nice, but like you don't get much, so it's like you got to fundraise most of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like, do you think just working with directors who have no concept of how that stuff is found? So do you find that makes you want to be a director, or would you just wish that directors would take the time to learn the financials of this?
I mean, it would be nice. I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
but do you have that creative urge, or you like?
Well, yeah. Lately, I have been having that creative urge, whether that's like photography or like being a director, because like I want to get back into the art, and I know the finance part of it. So it's like I know my limit almost.
Yeah, which is such a funny story that you want to be creative again, because here's a great little anecdote for all you watching out there.
Oh, God.
2016, Jake is part of a trip to Sundance Film Festival with me and a couple other students. We're sitting down talking to a producer who's very, very nice to talk with us.
Which producer? It was the guy from.
I actually forget. I don't know.
No. He did what was it? It was an LA like street film. It was a super just like, oh God. It was like, I don't know. Keep going.
But I don't remember either.
It won. I think it won an award. It won a few awards or something like that.
Yeah.
Round table.
Yep. Yeah. We're all sitting there, and he's talking about how the producer's talking about how he's definitely more of a producer, not a writing producer. He's not that creative. And Jake is like, yeah, that's what I want to do too. But Mr. Kelly, he always makes me write, and I hate it, and it's bad. Don't you think I should be a producer? And I'm like, thanks, buddy. Just throw me under the bus there as I'm sitting right there, he's wasted the past year on him. maybe I saw in you what you hadn't seen yet, which is that you want to be creative.
Which is why I went to Portland.
Writing's a little different.
It is very different, especially dialogue, like good dialogue. Now that I have a lot of friends that write good dialogue, and I'm just like, nope, not even gonna try. Like, I'll figure it out, but like, it's
dialogue's wild, man. I find that the stuff I gravitate towards more recently in terms of movies I watch is I'm more in tune with it, and I see words on screen. So it's like either you do a really good job, sounding natural, or
right.
you go the opposite direction and you sound very eloquent. But everything in between just doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Do you watch it with subtitles to like know what they're saying?
Sometimes I'll watch it with subtitles. Not typically, but if there's ever a lot and I want to follow it, I'll throw subtitles on just to know. Gotcha. So you're at Chapman, and you're working on a lot of student productions, a lot of student films. What are the requirements for graduation? Like, is there a certain number you have to be a part of? Did you have to do one yourself?
Yeah. So unfortunately, so I was on 3 this year as a senior. You have to do 3 to graduate, and then we did
3 in 1 year as a senior.
Yeah. So you produce one. You do a secondary job, either UPM or second AD, and then a third one you can be production coordinator, location manager, second, like a lower position, a not as hard position. And these sets they're unfortunately changing it now. I just got informed that they're only we did it for 2 weekends back to back. So we did 6 days total, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for 2 consecutive weekends. But they're switching it. They're doing 1 week now. They're like shortening it up, which really sucks. And they end up being like 20 minutes each. Okay. So the 3 I did, mine, unfortunately, I got to produce another project, but my initial project, my director left. And then I ended up producing a grad pilot, which is super cool. But I'm like not stoked about that one. The one I'm like super stoked about and I think it's hilarious is Out of Stock, which is like it's about the 1974, 1970s. Johnny Carson made a joke in the 70s about there was like a toilet paper crisis. Okay. And there's actually like for a good like day and a half, people were panicking that the world ran out of toilet paper. So it's about those events in a grocery store. I know it's super like ironic now that it's happening.
Not ironic, but like, stop calling me random people. Like prescient. Like you should get that out to festivals now. I mean, what a great topic to sort of have gotten on early.
No, my friend who produced that film, she's like a genius because that was her. You can either, a director usually has like a project they want to do or a producer initiated, and she found this Carson footage and she thought it was hilarious. And she followed this story and she ended up getting the Carson footage and it's in the film. And it's probably the funniest film that we have this in our graduating year.
I mean, like you came across this topic so naturally, and then the world ended up replicating the circumstances for you.
Oh yeah, and all the characters are just, the comedy's there, and it's so good. Yeah. I can't wait to I can just.
What are you guys doing with it? Is it online anywhere?
No, not yet. So they're just finishing up. I think they wrapped it. I'm in their group chat. We finished it like a few days ago, but I think it's in coloring right now.
Got you. So you guys gonna submit it to festivals and stuff?
Yeah, she's probably gonna submit it. She's gonna submit it everywhere because it's like there's no reason not to. As like we budget that in our films as well.
I mean, what a goldmine of a subject matter. Just
I bite my tongue every day. I'm like, man, I wish I found this. I wish I found this because it's such a just great idea, and I just can't stop like smiling and like laughing about it because there's so many like. Yeah, there's some like poop jokes, but like
it's okay. Hey man, like it doesn't. You know what movie I think about? I was just talking about recently because like I don't know if I've told you I'm doing this 40 film challenge with my students where it's like I came up with 40 films off of Netflix and I'm doling them out in 5 movies a week, and the idea is like all these great movies you can watch on Netflix over the next couple weeks. But one of the ones is Swiss Army Man.
Which you didn't want us to see because his mom.
Yes,
who it was like, oh, it's not good.
All these older people said it was immature and lame, and so I thinking like we can trust the instincts of these film festival veterans.
You know what? Also, the one film I'm like, we should have gone to. You probably know the film that I'm like, I was begging for us to go to, and you're like, no, we're not going to see it. Like, it's not in our schedule.
No, what was it?
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh, is that true? Is that one of the ones we didn't get to go see?
I was begging.
But I think I said we should. It wasn't.
It didn't line up with us, or something like that.
We were doing something.
We were doing docs, or like I think it was during one of the panels that you really wanted us to go to, and I was like, no.
Hey man, I if it was a panel we missed it for, I don't feel bad about that.
Dude, come on, Taika.
Yeah, it would have been amazing to see Taika there. We still saw him at the awards afterwards, like when
we did.
He was hosting, and I think it was right when he had been announced as the director of Thor, so he was like he was like he wasn't Taika Waititi yet, like he wasn't big Taika, but it was
he was still like Flight of the Conchords Taika.
Yeah. I'm saying in that community he was like huge, and it was like right before everyone else kind of knew who he was too.
I feel like you and I always find those people who are like these guys are gonna blow up, and then like 4 years later they're just like.
It's called having taste.
I agree.
So you have this movie about toilet paper, which will be a great ticket for you, and you're about to finish.
I'm a production coordinator on it, so it's not mine. But yeah,
it's something to go on your IMDb page.
Yeah,
which is awesome. And you are in your spring semester of college, spring senior semester. I mean, right? Like this is your last semester, which you are finishing from home, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What's going on with you? What's going on?
I have no idea. I have no. I mean, our friends can. They might just, which is like fine, but like.
I'll say that again. You broke up a little bit.
They might push it till September.
Okay.
It's fine. We'll see. I'm like no big deal because like I was a I've had 2 classes, so it's like a part-time student. So it didn't really feel like I was in school, and I still go to school only like 2 days a week now.
Yeah.
For like 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm like, my films are done. Like, I have this one last project that I have to do, and that's it. So it doesn't really feel like I'm in school. It's more just like prep for the real world and like doing interviews. And like someone said in my class was like, hit people up, like just literally go and email them and see if they're available, because like they probably are. So I've been just trying to Skype or Zoom with as many people as I could from film, music, anything in the entertainment world, that because that person may know someone that they're like, hey,
that's cool.
I might be you.
Who's the like coolest person you managed to get a hold of? Not in terms of recognition, just in terms of like you had a great talk with them.
Oh God. I met with Neil Jacobson recently, who he was the CEO of Interscope.
Oh, really?
Super, like, it's in the music world. I'm like, I may be looking to go in the music or see, but like, because like producing and managing are kind of like the same thing.
Sure.
So it's like I'm just keeping my window open, because so many jobs are gonna change.
Yeah, it's gonna be a much different. It's really, I've been thinking about it a lot.
Right? Isn't it fascinating to think about? Cause, like,
the industry is being pulled apart right now.
Oh, agencies are going down.
Yeah.
Like, I know so many people who like lost their jobs as an agency, or just like,
yes,
that whole thing's gonna it is gonna deconstruct itself, and like there's probably gonna be more smaller agencies but more personable agencies.
See, it's I would love to get your so here's my take on it is
let's hear it.
Obviously everything's been shut down, so everything's grinded to a halt, so everyone's looking at what they have for a moment right here, and the biggest thing that I think is going to be taken away, or not even, I don't even know what's going to happen to it, but movie theaters are going to be, as we know them, I believe will be an artifact.
100%.
They're like done. I mean, like an AMC or something like that. What we're all realizing right now is like all these studios that have movies to release are sending them to home video, and they're doing fine.
Yeah.
And it's finally the evidence they've been waiting for, that we don't need a major theater distribution for a lot of this. You will always have your Star Wars and your Marvel movies.
100%.
Those will always be in theaters. Those are mega blockbusters. So, like, what I think is going to happen is, and it's not good, but I could see, like, a Disney buying out an AMC. Basically, theaters aren't going to be independent contractors anymore. They're going to be studio-owned distribution houses.
Do you know about the Paramount Act though?
Yes, which they just undid.
They did. They officially just undid.
They overruled it
Yeah,
last year.
That was the biggest thing. That it's just like, if for all you guys who don't know, the Paramount Act is like in 1932 or something like. We learned this in film school. I'm sure Mr. Kelly did too.
Mm-hmm.
But Paramount, all the studios used to own movie theaters, and back in the day, they were monopolizing the theaters, so they weren't allowing like Universal to play a movie in a Paramount theater, et cetera, et cetera. So it needed to be a third-party person to own the theater, so everyone could see the films in the theater.
Yeah, and the idea was it was a way to maintain healthy competition between studios because a distributor, like a movie theater, wouldn't be told what to play by a studio, so they would choose what they thought were the best films for the public.
Yeah.
And that was what kept the idea was to keep films competitive, so they keep trying and in a fair marketplace. That has been eroded. I mean, we could talk so much about how antitrust laws have steadily been diminishing, but
in years.
I don't know if it was a straight overturn of the Paramount Act, but there was some major legislation that passed from the Department of Justice last year that basically said it's no longer applicable. And then this happens, and they're crumbling.
Yeah. So
I think I would not be surprised if studios are buying out like these movie theaters and just.
So I have a theory too.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the studios will, but more of the bigger studios. Netflix will not buy theaters. I am more betting on Amazon.
Amazon will absolutely make a move.
Amazon will in the
Amazon
theater.
and Disney are the two I think will.
I don't think Disney will, because I have this. Hear me out. I think Apple's going to buy Disney.
Aren't they already?
They're in talks.
They probably would. Of course they would.
Because Apple has enough capital to bank on Disney.
So disgusting.
But it's genius, though.
I guess it is. Yeah, I mean, if the end goal is to make sure America only has one company at the end of the day, it's genius if you're that one company.
Yeah.
For the rest of us, though, it's
they're gunning for content. They're getting the biggest library in this world.
It makes sense. I mean, it's funny because I don't know. I definitely if Apple buys Disney, right, then they're definitely going to.
But how funny is this though? It's the biggest Steve Jobs is F you Disney, because Disney bought Pixar and now
yeah, of course. Yeah, there's no integrity
so
in that anymore.
I just think that would be hilarious, but we'll see.
Whether who it is, Disney loves having control of everything, and if they could control their theaters, if there's any silver lining to it, it's that the theater quality would improve. They'd be really nice.
Yeah.
I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna have way less theaters, but they'll be nicer.
Yeah.
But a lot of everything's gonna shift to home video, which creates a lot of, and it's what is the market after that? What even is, if everything's a home release, how does it even work anymore? So it's kind of exciting. I spend a lot of time thinking about it. What am I looking at in terms of an industry by this time next year?
It's going to be a whole different.
The rules I think are going to be completely different.
Oh yeah, and representation is going to be. That's why I've been really into checking out management.
Yeah.
Or not being an agent, because those are just going to be difficult. But managing, I feel like a lot of actors won't have. Everything will just get smaller, and then actors won't really have agents, and I think the managers will take a bigger role in their decision. I don't know. I'm just
No, I know much less about that side of the industry, but
yeah, I just know that there's so many more forms of content now that if you're a manager, you can be managing an actor, a YouTuber, a TikToker, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can have these different people in your roster, and I think because I'm very eager and want to go into different things, and I think management could be the coolest thing to do. I don't know. We'll see.
Mr. I want to be a director. Now you want to be an agent. Now you want.
Hey, the thing is, I want to do multiple things, and it's just we'll see. I'm a full believer of we'll see where it takes me.
Yep.
So
That's awesome, Holland. You're breaking up. Oh, you're back. Okay.
yeah,
So yeah, so we're looking at we're looking at a wildly different industry, dude. So
definitely.
now that we've discussed the shambles that will be Hollywood by next year, or not shambles, but shambles rearranged in a new shape.
Hmm.
I want to get your take on it as a startup owner.
Oh, yeah.
You
I got
launched
that too.
you launched a company, I think still under a year old, called
It's a year old now.
year old
Just
called
over a year old.
Script
March.
Haven. Why don't you explain to our now 2 million viewers what
Hi everybody.
Script Haven is?
Welcome, next 1,000 people. Yeah, Script Haven's basically a online. It's I don't know if any of you know what the blacklist is. I'm sure you know, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the blacklist is basically a credited website
And
where
not the original blacklist. Like in Hollywood in the 50s, being blacklisted meant you weren't allowed to work in Hollywood. It's
yes,
a new blacklist, a new good blacklist.
good blacklist where represented writers basically people go online to like rate their scripts and like they're represented. And I kind of took that idea. I was like, oh, I know a ton of people that are in college that have great scripts, and like I've read some scripts in blacklist and they're not that great. Or like there's two types of blacklists. There's like the agency version, and then there's like the lower tier. But I was like, I've read a few of the lower tier, and I'm like, oh, college students should have this. So it's kind of a college version of the blacklist. But what makes us different is you can actually buy the scripts online. So we created a full contract payment processor where, like, if I want to buy Mr. Kelly's script, I could buy it and he signs the document, I sign the document, and then he gets the contract, I get the script. And now I own the script. I option the script for like a year and a half, 2 years.
So is it for producers to buy scripts to
For
sell,
both.
or is it for directors to buy for themselves?
Both.
Yeah.
So it's if you're a director, you can buy it from a writer, or if I'm a producer, I could buy it from a writer. It can go either way, which is super cool. So like if a director's looking for a script, they can buy that and then get a rewrite and stuff like that. And like,
So it's just meant to be a place where like all of those scripts that would be available are kind of consolidated, so
Definitely.
that people can look for stuff.
Definitely. And like a college kid's like can write a short for like you can write a 30-page, 20-page short and sell it for like $100 because like to them it's like,
Yeah, right.
go, $100, cool. And to them that could be the next thing. But like there's obviously like we have things in the contracts where there's like renegotiations, like if it does go places and stuff like that, but we're not liable.
Sure. Is there like yeah, I think that's interesting. It's like I think it's an exciting idea. One, I think.
Oh yeah, it's so cool.
There's a lot of there's so much content out there that if you're looking if you're a producer being like, what, I need something. You know, it'd be nice to have a space you could visit where there's sort of a curated collection of available.
Exactly, and even if it's for like $30 and that idea inspires a feature, like you own the rights to that idea.
Yeah, and is there? I think the thing I would like as a writer, I would have to worry. Is there legal recourses in place to make sure that like the writers
100%. That was
is protected.
Right in our budget when we were doing it. Like the most expensive thing was legal because we wanted to do it right, and like we wanted to protect the writer because like super ironically, our first purchase was on the writer's end was our roommate.
Oh really?
Roommates, yeah. Because because there's 5 of us that live in the house, and like I've teamed up. My co-partner is a finance major, and then one of my other roommates is a TV major, and he just writes a ton of scripts. Like he does not. He's like, I'm not sure how much he made on the first we sold, but like he made like $150, but it was like a 20-page script, and he was like, this took me like a day, which is super funny.
That is really funny.
Yeah, and this guy was just some guy in like New York, and we didn't even know who he was.
So he just that's so fun. So he just like wrote this thing, and some guy in New York bought it, and then that was.
Yeah, that was it.
Just like
And it was funny that it was that it was our roommate too, out of all things.
right. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was cool.
So what? So you started this about a year ago. Like when did it officially launch?
So it officially launched in November,
In November.
but conceptually it started in March. Like we legally like started all the document in March, and then the website finished in like September, and then we did testing from like September to November,
Mm-hmm.
and then we launched November.
So you launched in November. I mean, so pre-pandemic, were you happy with what was happening? And has the pandemic affected it at all?
I mean, we're steady. We're not like, I mean, we're getting users,
Yep.
but like we're not. I'm not. We haven't had script uploads in a little bit. I know it's a little shocking, but like we've kind of like we should get back on the marketing. I kind of stopped marketing for a little bit just because like
The world kind of stopped.
right, the world kind of stopped. So I was just like, my roommate and I needed to get our footing in the right places, and I mean, we're doing fine right now. I mean, we're not losing any money right now, so we're just, I mean, because it runs itself. So it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
there's no reason, like, it. We're fortunate enough that it can be on hold.
Yeah,
which is
that's
super
and
cool.
then it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's like it's not a So yeah, it's basically the product is you don't provide the product and
No.
you're just sort of created the
We're the
space
server.
where you own like the market square where all the
Yeah.
actual merchants are.
Exactly.
So whether the amount of traffic there doesn't matter so much.
No, and I think that's something that was intriguing from the beginning. That my room and I really like, because we're like, oh, this can be another revenue stream in life, where it's just like we don't necessarily like it. Once we move on and do our jobs, like someone else can run it, and we're still a part of it,
Yeah,
which is super cool.
that is really cool. So what are you doing are you working right now or are you just focused on school?
Focusing on school, finishing up, trying to like figure out what I want to do.
Yeah,
Because like, clearly, as you can see in our conversation, I'm just a mess. I'm
you're
just
all
like
over.
I'm all over. It's just like I don't know what to do, and I'm be a realist and an artist to reflect how the industry is going to change.
Hold on, say all that again. You kind of lost you there for a second.
It's fascinating because I'm trying to like figure out where I'm going to go while the industry's changing,
Yeah.
and like make sure that's like a good place to be.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, is there what are the chances that you like you don't end up in film?
I know I'm going to be in entertainment in some way.
Yeah,
I know whether
right.
that's going to be like I'm it's super stupid. I'm trying to pick up my photography a lot.
That's not
And,
stupid.
like,
Do you,
really,
do you
I mean,
enjoy photography? I mean, what's
I
the
love photography, and I think I want to be around, like, if I'm not doing film, I want to be around those people in film and doing behind the scenes and like all that cool stuff. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
there's this guy that I recently found called, I think his name's Greg Williams, and he's on behind the scenes. He's this British photographer.
Yeah.
He's like best friends with like Tom Hardy and Daniel Craig, and he
Cool
was
group of friends.
behind the scenes of like No Time to Die, and he's the poster for No Time to Die. Those beautiful portraits.
Sorry,
like,
we lost you there for a second. He did what for No Time to Die?
He did the all the posters. So
Oh,
all
really?
the beautiful photography. That's all him. He's done the photos since Skyfall
Oh, that's sweet.
of like Daniel Craig, and it's just like the fact that you can be a part of film and still like do photography is like super intriguing.
Yeah, sure.
Like, he was
Well,
on the-
they're not that dissimilar.
No, they're not. And he like goes to the Oscars and takes photos of all the celebrities, and like he was on set with Tom Hardy for Venom 2, like he was doing behind the scenes for that.
So this is
like,
a guy that you just aspire to be like, or just a guy you're like actually doing some work with?
No, aspire to be like. No, I've not met him yet. There's this guy that's like, I don't know. He's really like. It was just recently. I was just like, oh, cool.
What's his name?
Greg Williams.
Greg Williams. I have to check him out.
Greg
Everyone,
Williams photography. He
check
does
him
all
out.
black
Check
and
him
white
out.
photography. Super cool. He's a Leica partner,
yeah, that's awesome, man.
which is like cool if you get it to that point. It like gives you free Leicas. Like, why not, right?
Yeah, if you get to any point in anything where they're giving you free stuff, you've
It's like,
made it.
Made it. Yeah.
Which is why obviously Red is like trying to throw free cameras at Foreign Makes a Movie, and I'm like,
Take it.
you're not gonna buy me out that quickly, Red. All right, we're still negotiating with Alexa here. Just calm down.
Really? You don't want the Epic Dragon 16K?
I mean, I want whatever company's going to give me the most support in the long run.
Emotional too.
Yeah, emotional too. I'm not even looking for the camera. It's like, will you be my friend? And none of them have given me a clear answer on that yet.
Exactly.
So you're hanging out with Scripthaven. You're finishing up
Yeah.
school. What do you got? What do you got left for school? What classes are you taking right
So
now?
I got portfolio, which is basically like I got to option a script, which is super exciting. Or
Yep.
in my case, it was a poem.
Okay.
Which is super rad. Yeah, I know. You say that and you're like, wait a minute.
Hey, whatever gives you inspiration, dude.
No, dude. So it was super cool that I was gracious enough. I'm sure you know the name Robert Evans,
Yes.
right? Yes. Chinatown, Godfather.
The Robert Evans.
The Robert Evans, and I was fortunate enough. I didn't tell you this, but I knew him for the last like few years of his life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to meet him, and I got to option a poem that he wrote, which is super like rad, and it's like it's about seduction and like how it's like the classic like femme fatale of like the man being blind and the woman tricking him at the end of the day. And which is super cool.
Yeah, it's great. Classic pulp material.
No, exactly. And I think that's where my portfolio came in, where it's like, I want to make this pulp almost, well, they gave us a small budget. So I wanted to do it. I pitched it almost like a Double Indemnity meets Gone Girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Classic boilerplate. Like,
yeah, exactly. Classic.
Not boilerplate, pot boiler. That's the term.
Yeah. So it's like I was toying with it being in the 1950s. I still haven't figured it out yet, but I like put up a whole portfolio and with actors, actresses, marketing plan, and like the marketing plan was like with like I wanted to do like a alternative poster that was like similar to Double Indemnity, like in the 50s, like the classic like Hollywood photos and stuff like that, where like we have this giant like packet at the end of the day with all this stuff in it. Yep. And like I wrote it to Cindy Holland, who was like the creative director at Netflix or head of TV at Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's just like explaining all this stuff. Like I'd write a better one if I do send it in to her, but like that's like our final project.
Got you.
Which is super rad.
That is super rad.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me you're trying to figure out what you want to do after college, which means you don't really know what you're doing yet. You have no plan at the moment.
No, I have no plan. I'm just kind of like seeing. I don't know. I don't know what's
don't rush it, dude.
I don't know what happened to me in the next week. I don't know who I'm gonna meet, or like or like I haven't found that burning. I mean, I have a few like photographies. Like I'd do photography any day.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I need to find that thing. Like doing like Annie Leibovitz stuff, like going on sets and shooting these amazing actors and actresses, and that'd be rad.
That'd be super rad, man.
And like taking 10 photos and then bouncing, or I mean, doing light setups and then taking a few photos, and
Yeah, that sounds amazing, man.
Yeah, there was someone the other day actually that was like, I was telling someone about like Annie Leibovitz, and they're like, because she has like a bunch of photographers take the photo.
Yeah.
With her too. She has like 10 people, and then one person was like, "How do you really know it's her photo?" I'm like, "Don't you dare disgrace Annie Leibovitz. Like she's the genius."
How would you answer it though? How would you answer an Annie Leibovitz? How would you describe an Annie Leibovitz au revoir or style?
Well, it's the same as like I read an art book. I was getting into art. I read an art book the other day that was like about like Damien Hirst and how Damien Hirst, Damien Hirst, like who does like the docs and stuff. He's an artist. He's like this big, like multi-million-dollar artist who's like, anyway. But he made an analogy on on his art, saying like, he's famous for these like colorful dots, right? Mm-hmm. But he makes his assistants do the dots, and he's like, it's not about the art itself; it's about the brand of the name of the artist. So it's a Damien Hirst piece, but he didn't necessarily make the piece. And that's the commentary on art in general. So I can apply that to Annie. It's like, it's not who shot the photo, if it was her or not. It's, as a whole, it's her vision. It's her lighting.
Yeah, and I was wondering if, and I didn't mean this in any way as like dig on her. I'm just curious,
No,
like if someone had to, if you had to describe Annie Leibovitz's thing in like 2 sentences, like how would you do it? Or like what would you say?
Be over the top, almost saturated is not a good word, but very rich in color.
Okay. Yeah.
Over the top, rich drama.
And mostly
like
portraiture, right?
Yeah, all portraiture.
Yep.
It's just like, I mean, she did the last, like, she does all the variety photos for our Vanity Fair photos for all you guys who don't know. Like, she did like.
Yeah, if people were to Google search her, you'd see like a ton of photos you recognize. She's done a lot of famous pop culture
she did
stuff.
the John Lennon or him cuddled up with Yoko, which is super funny.
The iconic image.
Iconic image.
That's fantastic. So, Jake, we're approaching the hour-long mark, which I think means we're coming to an end here.
Yep.
So, give me, what are some parting words, some final statements you want to make before we can let all these viewers go to bed?
Go to class. Even though I did not go to class.
Even like grand scheme wisdom beyond high school.
I think the biggest thing is you're going to change your mind on what you want to do a million times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you will figure it out, whatever that'll be. And if you know now, amazing. Congrats. Like, I have not figured my stuff out yet, and that's awesome. But I guarantee you will change your mind, and don't let that stress you out. Like, go ride the wave. Enjoy
Ride the wave, baby.
Because you don't know where it's going to take you. And be open to anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
And be curious and just enjoy high school, man. Enjoy Mr. Kelly.
Enjoy me.
Yeah.
Enjoy me. Do you hear that? I'm enjoyable. Okay. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to say goodbye to you after I log off here. But to everyone that was a part of this, thank you. Thank you so much to Jake Cloobeck for coming by. And the rest of you, I will see tomorrow night for some Smash Brothers action. It's going to be a blast. Cool beans. And I'll see all of you tomorrow. Peace.